Good morning, welcome to the brewery. Here we are in sunny Middlewich, but it's -2 degrees. It's Brewday 69, I hope. That temperature is a bit worrying because it might mean that the water supply is frozen, because it does that, as you know. So as long as we've got running water, I'm going to make cross stout because we're almost out and I've got nothing in cans. And if the water's not running, then I'm going home. So this will be a very short video. Perfect. There's always some drama, isn't there? You know, the water's running. I've just cleared the top off the mash tun, ready to mash in. And I've gone over to the HLT and I'm at 58.7. And I don't know why. The little pump that I used to circulate had stopped. I wonder if we've had a power cut in the night. That's a pain in the backside, that is. Right, I need to investigate. Is that heating element? Well, there's two heating elements in it as well. I just get my meter out. The power's off. And let's get the cover off and see what's going on. And already I can smell something that's burned out. You know that acrid, burnt electronics smell? That's exactly what I'm getting here. And oh, yeah, that's not pretty. The breaker's stayed on now. That's a bit weird. Let me show you. It's pretty ugly in there. One relay looks like that, and the other relay looks like that. Have I got another relay? I don't think I have. So I have removed the relay and you can see the problem for yourself if it'll focus. There you go. That's not right. I suspect the heating elements failed. It could just be the relay. And I'm not sure I've got the right gear to test the element properly, particularly as it's currently in the tank. So what should we do? I think I'm just going to run it with one element. It'd take longer to heat, but it should be hot by the morning. I can brew. And then once the tank's empty, I'll swap those elements over, get a new relay in there. I'm wondering if I've got one kicking around. I'll have to have a good look. But either way, we ain't brewing today, folks. Right, this is a classic Four Priests temporary bodge job. Remove the relay, but then I've basically just connected directly with these probably underrated Vargo terminal blocks, spring terminal blocks. I've got one for the line, one for the neutral. They're connected straight to the elements, and both elements appear to be working fine. The problem with that is, unfortunately, there's no thermostat, so they're just going to keep on going and this thing's going to boil. So I'm going to sit and watch it until it gets to 75, then decide if there's enough time left in the day to brew. If there isn't, I'll just knock it off, come back early in the morning, give it a blast till we're up to 75 again, and then we can brew tomorrow. But not how I'd intended the day to go, guys. Actually, I don't think I need to just sit and watch it, because I can work it out, can't I? Because I know what's in it, and I know what temperature it is, and I know what we've got to get to. So, water heating calculator. Okay, mass of, consent to cookies, mass of water, 1,000 kilos. This is omnicalculator.com. Others are available. So we've got 1,000 kilos of water, approx. Initial temperature is currently 58.6. Final temperature needs to be, I'll get away with 74. Heating power is 6 kilowatts. And the efficiency, I'm going to put 100 in because this gives me an idea. So that's going to be 2 hours, 59 minutes. It's currently 10 o'clock. So 1 p.m. start, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 or 8 p.m. finish. So it's doable. It's doable. But I did say I'd go meet Jack at 4, which might be a problem, unless he wants to come here. I don't know what to do. So the question is, do I have another 32 amp relay in my box of gubbins? Cold room fans, 20 amp contactor, multimeter. Oh, there's my granddad's hammer. Power supply. Another power supply. These are 12 volt power supplies, very handy. Bit of DIN rail. Cruise A GNA 50 amp solid state relay. That might work, because I do have a heat sink in here somewhere. There we go. That'll do it. That'll do it. That will do it. Another 20 amp contactor. 40 amp circuit breaker, don't need that. 25 amp MCB. 50 amp MCB. 6 amp MCB. Oh, spare plug. Need one of them. STC 1000. See, I've got everything, haven't I? I've got all the toys. All the gear, no idea. 16 amp relay. 2 16 amp relays. Okay, so we could put one on each. Yeah, these might work. Are you going to focus? So these will switch to 50 volts at 16 amps each, and we've got 12 volt coils, which is there's a 12 volt transformer in there. Okay, I've got 3 options here so far. I've only got another one, got a spare. Oh, spare relay, unused. That'll work, you know. That will work. Okay, so raiding the infrequently opened box, I think I've got what it needs to replace. Let me show you what we had before. So here's the original relay, the burned out one. Don't know why it's burned out, might have failed. The relay inside, it could still be a fault on the heating element, so we're just being careful to watch that at the moment. I'll do some proper testing on it later. I just need hot water right now. But what we can do, just to get rid of this completely, is a double pole relay. So the way that it works is you present 12 volts DC across these 2 pins, and that 12 volt supply is provided by the temperature controller that you see on the front of the panel, the big LED display. So if we're below temperature, 12 volts appears here, and that then switches these 2 pairs, these 2 pins, I should say, the pair in the middle is where the supply voltage from the circuit breaker goes, and then when we have a voltage on these pins of 12 volts DC, it switches the live and the neutral, so both poles are made and broken simultaneously. And that's worked well for, well, whatever, I don't know, a year, maybe more. But it's obviously failed now, and I've not got another one of these, unfortunately. But what I do have are loads of these. Now these are not double pole relays, so what I'm thinking, just to get us out of a pinch, is to common the neutrals together and just, with 2 of them, just switch the lives through these 2 relays in the same way. So they're 12 volt DC coils, so we'll still present the 12 volts and we'll loop it across both relays so that they're actuated at the same time, and we'll supply, going out of focus a little, we'll supply the 230 volts and switch it out back to the heating elements, 1 element, 2 element. Here's a handy hint for you. Don't leave it switched on. They don't power off automatically, and then when you really need them, It's dead. Right, well, we're back in action, only because I'm a compulsive hoarder. Sarah hates me for it. I've got boxes of bits. What are you going to need that for? Just buy a new one if you need it. I'm glad I have them today because we're rocking and rolling now. It's horrible in here, I'm sorry. It's safe when the cover's on. However, the colour coding of the cables is all wrong and it's a bit untidy, so I do need to fix that at some point, like everything else here. So we swapped that double pole relay that was burned out there. Double pole means we're switching the live and the neutral at the same time, so the heating elements are completely isolated when it's switched off. And I've had to revert to a single pole relay because that's all I've got. So the neutrals are commoned, so the neutral is in permanent connection to the heating element, and we're just switching the live. You'll see at the top of the terminals, the top terminal row there is basically the coil, so we provide that 12 volt supply across there which switches these relays off and on depending on what the back of this LED controller wants to do. And if you look at the bottom of the terminal block arrangement on that relay base, if I can get it to focus, if you look at the bottom of that, you'll see the bottom row. I'll get my finger in. The bottom row there is the supply, so there's live coming in to both relays, and then the middle row, the top row is unused, the middle row then goes out to these heating elements here, which if you listen very carefully, you might be able to hear it hissing, or maybe not. Either way, 61 degrees, I need 74, that's going to take an hour or so, at least. Hour and a half to 2 hours max, minimum. And I'm going to run out of day. So we're going to do something else. Christian's here.
Let's go to the pub.
Should we go to the pub instead? Yeah. I can't be arsed now. Let's go to the pub. 64.5 degrees and rising. Another 10 degrees to go. However, the time is 12:35. I ain't starting now. I'm going to be out here till 8 o'clock tonight if I do. So definitely decision made. Come back in the morning. But I'm going to get that up to temp and then just put it on low or whatever. Let it tick over. But I've trashed the place looking for parts and bits and pieces, as you can see. So I'm going to tidy up. Might get the ingredients weighed for tomorrow. And then I've got a couple of other things to do. Bits of strip wire everywhere. Let's get all this away. So what else is going on this week? Well, I've been asked if I would like to participate in a thing. It's still very tentative and not fully thought through. But the idea is to try and reproduce something which happened in Sandbach a while ago, which is a ale trail. So essentially 5 pubs, bars, or other outlets who sell beer, offering beers to customers with a little card where you get a stamp each time you buy a beer. It's a bit of a commitment. There's no charge for the card, but in order to get your prize of a free pint, you got to get 5 stamps for beers. You know, question mark, responsible drinking? Don't know. However, no one's forcing you to get your free pint at the end. We're just merely encouraging you to have 6 pints. It sounds awful, doesn't it? You know what I mean? Anyway, you can have 2%ers, alcohol free even. No one's forcing you to get trashed. Good morning, 6:30, Sunday, back again. Can't keep away from the place. I've not been in yet. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. It's only -1, so we should be okay for freezing, particularly as we were in there yesterday and the big water heater is on, so there's some heat given off by that. It should just keep the frost off, hopefully. But I just hope it's not failed for some other reason like that heating element. So let's go see if we're at 75 or not. Oh, looking good. I don't know if you can see that. 74.1. I'm happy with that. That'll work. Before I went yesterday, stacked all the ingredients ready. I'll go through that with you next because I want to mash in as quickly as possible. If I can get home by lunchtime, that'd be brilliant, but I suspect it's going to be early afternoon. Right, we're ready to go. It is super cold in here. My fingers are tingling already. I should have brought some gloves. Cross stout today. We're going for the full HLT volume, so almost 1,000 litres, 980. Last time we did that with Mergy, I think it was, we got 21 containers out. So it was a mixture of cask and keg, mostly cask. And the fermenter was full enough. We need a bit of headspace, so I'm comfortable with that. But cross stout today. Grain bill is all crisp, Maris Otter, caramalt, wheat malt, naked malted oats, dextrin, crystal 240, and then at the end of the mash we'll add the roast barley and the chocolate malts. We don't put the very dark roasted malts in at the beginning of the mash, just at the end, so we don't get the bitterness from them. Bit of Epsom salt, gypsum. We're going to be pitching. The recipe says SO4, but it's actually WHC Bond today, which I kind of like. We've bought it a few times. It's good value and it performs just as well as the Fermentis SO4 product. And the hops in this are all at the beginning, actually not all at the beginning of the boil. 60 minutes, East Kent Goldings, got 1.1 kilos. And then 15 minutes, we've got 875 grams of Bramling Cross. And some Protoflock, unless I forget. We will be mashing at hopefully 68 to 69, fermenting at 19 degrees for a couple of weeks. Hoping to start at original gravity 1047/1048 and finishing at 1014, 1015. We finish a little bit lower sometimes because the yeast's pretty attenuative. So let's get this grain in. So we're going to do it a bit differently today. You'll remember on the old kit, we just chucked all the grain in, had that long pipe that went over and in, and that was good enough, and you could reach the bottom and stir it and everything was fine. And as was suggested by a few of you, it's not the best way with this. We're not hydrating the malt enough. I've not got fancy hoppers and hydrators and things, so we've got to do it manually. But what I'm going to do is put the water in a bit at a time and add the grain as we go. Give it a stir. Next bit of grain, give it a stir, just to make sure we've got everything nicely mixed in. We've not had particularly big dough balls, I would say. It just takes a lot of physical effort to kind of, particularly if you've underlet, it's just lifting the whole grain bill like a big giant raft. So we'll do it a bit at a time. off we go. 45 minutes. Let's get the dark malts in. Oh, the smell is amazing. It's like when you go to a really good coffee shop. I'm not talking about Costa or Starbucks, you know, your local really good coffee shop. That smell when you walk in, that's what that smells of. So I've just spread it around the top a little bit. It's sat there. What I do, gently stir the surface in to make sure it's all got a reasonable soaking. But what we're trying not to do at this stage is to disturb the grain filter, really. The grain's compacted now quite a bit. We don't really want to start stirring that up again. I've struggled with a couple of, well, not stuck mashes, but just sticky mashes in this. And there's quite a lot of oats in here, so I'm going to try not to disturb it so much that all the tiny little oat, because they're really small grains, they'll definitely sink to the bottom. We've had that before. Just try not to go more than a couple of inches deep. I could probably go deeper, but as long as it's fully wet, I'm good. And then just out of interest, let's check what the temperature is now. Nothing I can do about it at this stage, but if we can determine how much temperature loss we've had, I think we're about 1 degree, 2 degrees now outside, Celsius. But if we can determine what sort of temperature loss we've had, we were pretty much bang on 68, just over. And after an hour, and this has no heating at all, we're in excess of 66 in the middle. Same at the edge. So we'll give that the remainder of the mash 15 minutes. We'll get the pump set up and get ready to sparge and transfer to the copper. Right, we're almost ready to start the sparge. As soon as the height of the work drops a little bit. This is our still temporary but working underback. So we're just draining through gravity out of this little tap thing into actually what is my old hop spider, which is very good as a catcher for bits of grain. We try and maintain the level in here by adjusting the flow out into the pump and up into the copper, and we can obviously moderate the flow out of the mash tun and the flow out of the pump to maintain a level in here, which is not doing very well at the moment. Need a little bit more. Up here we're transferring in there, and then this pipe is just clamped, so we're actually running down gently down the inside of the wall. And we're really waiting for the wort level. You can see it just through the steam. We're really waiting for the wort to get to the point where it covers these heating elements. Once they're submerged, we can stick the power on. Power! Slow that down a bit now. It's just a constant battle. Right, yeah, I'm way behind with my YouTube viewing right now. I need some time just to sit and flick through everybody's stuff. I keep up with a few pretty regularly, Martin Bailey and a couple of others. Mainly people that I know, IRL. But I was flicking through the other night, and someone I don't know IRL, but I would consider him a internet friend, is Billy Carpenter at aaaaand. And I didn't realise he had a channel. And I've been speaking to him for a couple of years. And I'm flicking around the other night, I was like, I know that logo. And it was Billy, there he was. We've done some video chat before now, and we've done some stuff with Andrew from the Homebrew Pub podcast, if you've ever seen that. Anyway, I just recognised him. I'm like, that's Billy. I had no idea he had a YouTube channel, so I've gone through his entire back catalogue. It's about 16 videos or so. But you should go take a look. He's a funny guy. He watches me. So he must have a sense of humour, because my videos are awful. I've gone out of sight because I'm looking for something to prop up. I know what I could use. A cardboard box. Something to prop up the pipe on the sparge arm, because it's a bit rubbish. If you've ordered beer from paulpriestbrewery.co.uk, you'll have seen these boxes. But I'm afraid you can't order now because I've been wiped out again. I mean, I'm not complaining, don't get me wrong, but you're like, yeah, got enough there. And then you get orders for 24s and more in some cases. So thank you, seriously, thank you for buying the beer. Especially Stuart and Sharon, who came in yesterday and wiped out most of my Murgy. Still got a few left. Unexpectedly, just wandered up to buy, which was very nice. And we had a good chat about Middlewich and the town and whatnot. That's a bit high, that, isn't it? Right, I have carefully positioned a Four Priests cardboard box underneath the hose just to straighten up the angle of the dangle. Because if it's cockeyed, it doesn't spin very well. Can I say cockeyed on YouTube? I don't know. You've not wiped me out, but I'm looking in the fridge down there. I've got a chunk of Get Locky left, but almost no Moston Dragon and definitely no Murgy Straight. I've got 5 kegs of beer to can there. It's not quite, you know about the situation that I mentioned previously. Or do you? Did I tell you? Don't think I did. If I didn't tell you, I had 5 or 6 kegs carbonating in the cupboard for 10 days, ready to put into can. And I pulled them out to can, and I hadn't pushed the levers down on the kegs, so they'd received no gas whatsoever for 10 days. Schoolboy error. I was rushing, wasn't I? Wasn't concentrating. Anyway, so they've all got couplers on now and been carbonating for about 7 days now. So I'm gonna, if I've got time today, I'll try and get a bit of everything into can so that we can restock the store. But thanks for those of you that have ordered. Okay, let's get the water on. Oh no! No! Something's gone horribly wrong. Can you see something missing at the end of that copper pipe? It's my bloody sparge arm, it's blown it off the end. What am I going to do now? Right, where's my grabber? Oh, it's just beneath the surface here, I can feel it. What next? Right. Thomason bodge job coming up. I'm just wondering, what's happened? Where's it gone? I just had it in my hand. Oh, there it is. I don't know whether this is going to work or not. See, there's an olive. There's an olive in there, so as you tighten it, it compresses. But it's on its. What I might do is try a Thomason Four Priests bodge job, hillbilly engineering at its best. My spray ball off the cask washer because it's sanitised and ready to go, and it's got the right size fitting on it. It's sort of working, but it's not right. It's not covering a lot of the grain. If we just keep the level an inch above the grain bed, it should just soak through, I think. But I don't think it's not gonna cut it, is it? I can turn it up a bit. Let's come out the steam a bit if I can. I'll just turn it a bit faster. But then I think I've got quite a lot of downward pressure right in the middle. I don't want to make a channel. We're not spinning, but we're running at least. I'll just have to turn it by hand every now and again. Is it because I shaved my beard off? Does it mean I'm not a brewer anymore? Well, on the way, I've put the heating elements on. We are at 75 with a target of 102. This is how much we've got in the 1,000 litre copper / kettle, call it what you will. And although the sparge arm isn't spinning, I am manually rotating it now and again, just give it a little, move it into another position. So while that's filling, let's go and have a look at the skip / dumpster. What's going on out here, guys? I wonder. Let's take a look. Look how filthy my car is. Let's have a look. Oh, we've got some progress, guys. We've got some progress, some stuff. It's a good sign. I don't think that was in there though. But I suppose he's got to make room where he's moving his stuff to be able to move his stuff to it. This is the slowest sparge, I think, ever. It's draining, but I've got everything at the lowest possible setting. We're at 91 with what's in there. I think there's what have we got? We got about 90 litres left of liquor to transfer across. And then whatever's in there has got to drain through, and then we'll be ready. But it just means, to be honest, it means it'll boil really quickly once the sparge is done. We'll be at boiling point, so you get the first set of hops in. So in the meantime, I'm going to clean my fermenter, the outside of it, because I don't use flash inside, obviously. Right, that's the outside, kind of okay. It had a good caustic after the last brew, so it's been cleaned and rinsed down, but it definitely needs an acid sanitise with the Persid dilute. So we'll blast that round with the spray ball. I'll wait for the boil to start and we'll stick it on there, because it only takes, well, 2 minutes they say, but I'll leave it running a bit longer than that. I didn't show you the hops going in, did I? Oh, they're hung in those bags that I've showed you before, anyway, from Strings. However, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 proto flock should be enough. We're in the, oh, that's hot. 5, 6. We're in the last 15 minutes of boil, probably 12 minutes to go, so that's okay now. So we're currently circulating out of the bottom of the tank, into the pump, into the heat exchanger, and into the top of the copper or kettle, depending where you're based. Once all those pipes are suitably scorched inside, because it's boiling, as you can see, or maybe you can't, 101 degrees at the moment. So if there was anything that we wouldn't want in the pipes, it's been nuked now, or in the process of anyway. Then we'll relocate that coupler at the top onto the front of this tank on there, or we'll just chuck it in the top. I haven't decided yet. If I want it aerating, I'll put it in the top and let it splash around a lot. It probably does need it actually, so we'll do it that way. Right, I've just drawn a sample as it's pouring in at 20 degrees, and we're looking for, there, we are looking for 1047, 1048. Let's just settle down a bit now. Let's have a look where we are. It looked pretty close when it was bouncing. 1045 is in between the 10, if you can see that, and the 45, where the line goes between the 0 and the 4. That's your 1045. 1046, 1047, 1048. It's closer to 1049. 1049. Right, let me do some maths with this yeast. Hang on. Right, that is the yeast done. We are dehydrated bond, which is, as I said before, I think pretty much the same as Fermentis SO4. And I just chuck the whole pack in. 500 grams. Still filling, of course. So while I'm doing this, Elliot's digging out over there. Original gravity. It's settled at about 1049, which is too high. I'll just put that over there. It's too high. Not super high, but it means rather than a 4.2, we're going to be at 4.4, 4.5 even. So we don't want to do that. The adjustment that we can make is quite easy. We just add some more liquor, which is what I've done now. So I use Brewfather, the tools section on Brewfather, to determine that. It's about 850 litres, or will be. And it was 1049. I needed a 1047. It said you need 35 litres more liquor. So that's gone in the tank. By the time that's finished draining, we should be bang on. I'll do another check just in case, but we should be starting at 1047 and hopefully finishing with 72% attenuation. Although that 72% was based on a 69 degree mash last time. This time it was 68 and a bit. So it'll be there or thereabouts, I'm sure. We won't miss it. As you saw, the yeast's in. So nothing else to do other than wait for that transfer and get cleaning. And you don't want to watch me cleaning. Do you want to look in the fermenter? I'll show you in the fermenter. We are filling the fermenter. It's a lovely colour, that is. It's not jet black. It's a very, very dark brown. It's black in the glass though. Right, we are mid-clean. I just thought I'd show you. I wasn't going to show you the cleaning because it's kind of boring, isn't it? But this is when you're cleaning in the cleaning place. I've got some leaks because this lid doesn't fit very well. You can see the caustic running out the side. It runs down the side and onto the floor, which isn't so bad. Helps us to clean the floor at the same time. But we're basically pumping that caustic through a spray ball in the top. And then it's cascading down the sides and cleaning and taking all the baked on crap with it. After this is finished, we'll pump it into the mash tun where it drains away. Actually, this is now connected to the drain. It'll go into the drains and we'll dilute it down with water to make sure the pH is appropriate. And then we'll do an acid wash, same thing. Acid in here, spray ball, give it a blast, rinse it out, and then get it down the drain once it's ready for that. And actually, the heat exchanger and the pump are part of this circuit. So we're taking water with caustic in, out of the bottom, through the pump, through the heat exchanger, and back in the top, and round in a big circle. This has been going for about 40 minutes now, so it's probably done. I'm going to stop the pump and have a little look. And if it is, we will move on with the rinse. Right, 5:30, I'm done. It's been a long day, 6:30 till 5:30 for one brew. It's like the old days again, isn't it? But everything went wrong. I forgot what I was doing. Anyway, we've ended up with, I think, about 850 litres in the tank at 1.047, so bang on. Fingers crossed, 2 weeks' time, we'll get that into packaging. Brewery's all nice and tidy, nice and cleaned, still rammed over there. Hopefully by the time of the next video we might have some more updates as to next door, fingers crossed. And anything else I can think of. Thanks for watching, see you next time.